tell you something about myself, alright? Let's get to know each other, right? I like weird content. I like the strange. I like psychological horror type stuff, alright? And if you want that kind of content, look no further than Jack Stauber, alright? That man is a genius, alright? An underrated genius. If you haven't seen the content that he's been putting out recently, or for a while actually, I think for whenever I started watching it, maybe like last year, maybe the year before, but man, the videos that he puts out on YouTube are absolutely amazing. Alright, the songs that he makes, really great. But the thing that I really enjoy about Jack Stauber is the content. Alright, he manages to mix music that's like really weird sounding, and then mixing it with the strange visuals, right? Like, because usually he deals with claymation or like really odd 3D kind of stuff, but it really works for him. Oh, and of course he does drawn stuff, obviously, but you know, all those things combined, it's like a mosh-podge of just weirdness, just really strangeness. It's like, if you can think about it like as a person, it's probably like that strange kid, right? The strange kid in your classroom at the back of the, you know, the classroom, and he doesn't say anything at all. But here's the deal, he's not a school shooter, right? If you talk to him, he'd be like a really fucking cool dude. But you wouldn't know that because you want to talk to the kid, alright? So, just that's something for you to think about. But why am I talking about Jack Stauber, you might be asking yourselves? Well, I'm really glad you asked. Recently, Jack Stauber partnered up with Cartoon Network, and he blessed us with a new mini short animation called Opal. And oh my goodness, when I first saw the trailers for Opal, I was already hooked. I was like, wait a minute, is this from Jack Stauber? Of course it is. The claymation, unmistakable. It's Jack Stauber. And from and again from the trailer, it's just really weird. You don't really know what's going on. It's like a minute long, not the full animation. Full animation is actually 12 minutes, you know, and that's kind of strange for him to do, because usually when he does animations, it's you know, like 30 seconds or something, but that's what makes it wonderful. That's what makes it great, is they're short, they get to the point, they're extremely relatable. And this video right here, it's extremely relatable. It kind of gets to the point, but it is long. But I don't think that's a problem, but overall, I prefer his videos to be short. But this video right here, Opal, it is great. Alright, it is wonderful. Would I say it's a masterpiece? I don't think it's one of his greatest hits. I really think that he really gives out a lot of bangers when they're short, but this one's great. To say that that this animation's bad would be, you know, a very disrespectful thing to say at least, right? But here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. What happens in Opal? Let me give you a rundown here. So if you haven't seen Opal, you could actually watch it on YouTube. That's how I watched it. Basically, you have the main character, Opal, a little girl who just randomly wakes up to see 3 friendly faces, apparently a mother, a father, and an old man. They start singing to her. You know how fucking weird it is when it comes to Jack Stauber, right? They start singing to her, and then she starts dancing for them, and then they're all cheering until she stares at the house. She looks at the house, she looks at the little window, and she stops, and everyone stops. Everyone starts squinting. It's like, oh no. You know what they say, and they remind her, don't go to the house. Don't look at the house, Opal, because that's not for you. And so they put her to bed. But Opal, Opal. But of course, Opal is curious. She wants to find out what is going on in that house. She looks at the house once again. The little window opens at the house, and you hear angelic voices. You hear them singing to her as if the house itself was calling to her. And so obviously, she opens the window, leaves her house, and goes towards that house to enter the door. But before she could open the door, a big light pops out, scares her, and so she enters the room. And that is how we're introduced in the first act. I think it's technically the first act, maybe the second act, but I take the acts as if, like, whenever they start singing, because there are 3 people in this house that she just entered. So let's keep that in mind. I'm probably getting this wrong, but in the first act, she meets an old bald man who's blind, right? And she's trying to sneak, but she doesn't know he's blind at first until she made a noise. And then then he looks directly at her, but he doesn't notice it's Opal. He thinks it's Claire. We have no idea who Claire is, but he's like, hey, Claire, get me a smoke. Right? Give me a goddamn smoke. He's obviously dying. He's obviously dying. Just look at how he fucking looks, alright? And he starts coughing up blood, and it's like, oh, Claire, give me my smokes. You know that you appreciate me more than anything. And then he starts singing how the TV makes breathing seem so easy, which is kind of, you know, hilarious, because number one, he's blind, so he's like, all he can do is hear the TV, but not actually watch the TV. And number two, breathing is probably the most easiest thing you could do, unless you're unhealthy and you're dying, like the man right here. You know, it's kind of ironic, right? But you know, as she was bringing the smokes to him after he finished his little song, he's like sniffing her. He's like, wait a minute, you're not Claire. How come you ain't saying anything? Wait, you're not Claire. What are you doing in my house? Get out! And then she gets freaked out, and then he tries to get up, and then for some reason he falls on it, you know, on his ass, or more like his face, and the chair crushes him, and he starts screaming, and then Opal leaves, and then we're met with our second character, which is a very odd one. Not too odd though. There are three characters, like I said before. Two of them are really weird, but I feel like the second one, the man with the mirrors, is more tame than the others, but he is obsessed. He is obsessed with himself. Literally, he cannot stop looking at himself, so much so that he has a ring on his head that has many mirrors attached to them. So like, it's literally, he's like draped, or is that the word to use? Dripped, drobed, I don't know. He's surrounded. He's basically surrounded by a bunch of mirrors. He can't stop looking at himself, and he doesn't notice that Opal's there. Well, actually, he does. He starts talking to her, but he doesn't know it's Opal. He thinks that it's probably Claire, but he doesn't actually say it's Claire. He just says, you know, it's like, hey, are you not gonna actually say hello? But you know, he goes on his little tangent, and then he starts singing his little song as well. And then after he's done singing, he starts talking again, and then Opal's like, I probably want to leave. And funny enough, she tried to leave, and then he's like, wait a second. And he turns to the mirror. He's like, you gotta give me a second. You gotta give me a second. But then, of course, the old man comes out of nowhere. He's screaming like, and then she's like, oh my God, I gotta leave again. And then he starts freaking out the man in the mirrors. He starts breaking mirrors. He's like, you know how this makes me feel. So he's very traumatized, obviously. And then she finally makes it to the room that leads towards the area where you saw the little cloths coming out of the little window, right? So she tries to go to that area, but she is stopped. She is stopped by a crackhead. Quite literally a crackhead. Maybe a drunkard, but my God, she is not having a good day, all right? That crackhead is not having a good day. She refuses to let go of Opal's leg, and then she goes on some like weird tangent. It's like, I forgive all of you. It's a virtue. It's okay. I forgive everything that you've done for me. She's obviously out of it. No, she's like, I need a girl. I need a mama's girl. And then like you see a flashback of what's going on, which is kind of complicated. You don't necessarily know what's going on. I mean, if you try to freeze the video, you can see what is going on, but it's not very clear what actually is going on. So it's really weird. And then she's like, you're more helpless than I am, or you're as helpless as I am. See? And then I assume she wanted to fucking slap the shit out of Opal, but Opal's like, oh my God. And so she leaves, and then finally she goes to the room, the legendary room that was calling to her. But when she gets to the room, it's empty. It's almost empty, actually. It has a bed and some few items, but the weird thing is, when she looks out that window, she doesn't see her house. No, she doesn't see the house. She sees instead a sign that says Opal's Burgers. And ironically enough, there lay on the little poster on the sign that you see in the highways, the friendly man, woman, and the old man, all there, surrounding a little girl with burgers. And then right there we realize, holy fucking shit, this is all a dream. This is all a dream on Opal's mind. Then again, is the little girl actually called Opal? Is she Claire? Who the fuck is this little girl? All right, because I could assume that it's Claire, that she's actually Claire. But if that were the case, then the old man would have said, wait, you're not Claire. He would have recognized her scent, which is kind of fucking weird to say. But regardless, he would have recognized her, all right? Everyone would have instantly recognized her, but I believe that it was all a mistake. Maybe she's adopted. Maybe Opal is adopted. Who knows? Now, obviously, with Jack Stauber videos, there's a lot to interpret, alright? Because there's a lot of, like, hidden messages and stuff like that that leaves the viewer questioning a lot of shit. It's like, why was that a thing? Who was that? You know, this video right here, Opal, is no exception. Literally no exception at all. I was trying to think before making this video, like, what does the people mean? Like, what do each individual means? Like, do they have a certain, like, you know, story behind them, stuff like that? And I feel like I got, like, a general basis on, you know, who these individuals are. So I'll give you my interpretation of what these people are. So, you here we go. So first off, the friendly man, woman, and old man, they don't exist, all right? Well, basically, they don't exist, right? If anything, they're just a cardboard picture on some highway, all right? But they're more of a wish, if you think about it like that. Like they're actually the people inside the house, but they're what Opal was. Instead of a crackhead, someone that's dying because they refuse to stop smoking, and someone who's, too busy looking at themselves to look at other people. Instead, they're all looking at her, and they're all happy to see her. It's like, oh, there you go, there's my girl, there she is, and then, hi, Opal. I don't understand why the old man just goes, hi, Opal. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's really sus, but regardless, those people don't exist. All right, they're just a figment of imagination of Opal's. But the people that really do exist are the people who are really screwed up. Like the man with the lungs, well, I mean the man who has the, what little is left of lungs, and then you have the man who is very vain, and then the woman who is very, fucked up. So let's go ahead and try to talk about the old man, alright? What's his deal? Because he's really obsessed with that TV. And if I had to compare him to anything, I think it's like more like individuals who are really obsessed with social media. People who are really obsessed with, people singing to them, giving them praise, because if you notice, he talks a lot about, salesmen trying to grab his soul, and the women trying to grab his souls, but they sing to him, they're trying to sell them products, and also, the little comment that he says is like, oh, it's evil to help people who don't need help. That's obviously, a case of him not realizing he needs help, but I think he does know, but at the same time, he's very ignorant, obviously, because after he says that, I'm pretty sure he coughs up blood, alright? So, he needs help. He really needs help. He probably needs to stop smoking, alright? But obviously, he goes on his little singing parade, and he's like, why does it seem easy to breathe on TV? Which it is, but if you replace one word, I've been thinking about this, if you replace that word with living, then I think it kind of explains what he actually means. Why does it seem so easy to live on TV? Because when we look at social media, when we look at TV in general, you see perfection, right? Certain things will show you the best side in life. All right, and I feel like that's the reason why a lot of people are so depressed these days, because they're not living their best life, all right? They're probably in a really shitty situation right now, but they have social media to try to, escape this harsh reality. And what they see is perfection. They see people living their best lives, people who are rich, they barely have any trouble in their lives and stuff like that. And so people might ask the question, why does it seem so easy to live on social media or on TV? So I feel like that's what he is. I think that's the manifestation of, social media and TV, making life seem so easy. But in reality, is life easy? No, it isn't. Even the people who pretend that life is easy, it really isn't. It really is not. And now let's talk about the man with the mirrors. Obviously, he's very vain about himself. Even at the last verse of his song, he compares himself to be a godly figure. You see him flying away with his little mirrors. It's really odd. And I was thinking to myself, what does he represent? I feel like he kind of represents the people who think too highly of themselves, who try to be perfect. They try to be perfect for everyone because he wants everyone to pay attention to him. So that's why he has to do everything in his power to make himself presentable. That's why he's always looking at himself in the mirror. That's why he's always comparing himself to other people. That's why he's always saying like, oh, they're gonna love me. They're gonna be kicking themselves over me. So I feel like that's, again, society does that a lot. They have to be presentable. They want the eyes of man. I could possibly even compare myself to him as well. Even though I'm not necessarily vain, I don't look at myself in a mirror like 24/7, but I do want the eyes of man on me, all right? I want the eyes of man to notice me and to give me praise. And I feel like a lot of people could relate to that as well. So I feel like that's what he represents, people who want recognition, people who want praise, people who just want attention. And then finally, we get to the woman who is just not having a good day. Again, she's probably drunk. I mean, because of the bottle that she holds, during the video. And then the pills, of course, very, very strange. Well, not strange. I mean, she's taking drugs. But, you know, when I watched it after the second time, maybe third time, I really wanted to find out what was actually going on with that woman, all right? Because, again, she goes back through a little flashback, and it's like, what the hell's going on there? At first, I thought, hey, she's an abuser, right? She's an abuser, and she thinks that everyone is at fault. She thinks she's the victim, but in reality, she's the one who's kicking everyone's ass. But then when I watched it again, I think she really is the victim. I really do. I feel like she's the one who has dealt with a lot of problems with her life, and so that's why she has to force herself in a way to numb her mind from all the pain, from all the troubles. Because if I'm not correct, one of the scenes has someone slapping her over the fucking head, and then like some face melts off someone's face, and then you see the old man. I'm pretty sure it's the old man because you can see his little glasses and then his fucked up eyes. But you know. But the question is, who abused her? Who kicked her ass? You know, who treated her like the husband from the 50s? That's the question. But another question is, has she become an abuser as well? Because when she wanted to hurt, or supposedly hurt, you know, Opal, you know, she was like, oh, you're as not useless, but more defenseless as I am. You're as weak as I am. So she probably views herself as being weak. So that's why I think that's the reason why she was like saying, I forgive all of you. I forgive all of your sins. It's all a virtue. Because she could honestly have been abused by the man with the mirrors, by the old man. Who knows? Maybe it just could be the opposite, where she actually is the abuser of the situation, and then she's like, I have to abuse all of you because you are all terrible people. But that's okay. I forgive you for now. It's a great virtue, but she's really, really strange. But of course, at the end of the video, we come to the conclusion, I think at least, that all of this is a lie. Opal could be in a very abusive situation with all of them just kicking her ass. So I don't know. And another thing that's kind of strange to me is like, if she's in that terrible situation, why would the house call to her? Why would the house be so angelic? You know, if anything, it would probably sound more horrific, more threatening, satanic even. But no, it was warm, kind of welcoming. I mean, obviously ghostly, but it was calling to her. The house was calling to her, I feel like. The house could possibly be like, it's time to come back. It's time to come back to reality. But overall, it's a strange ride, ladies and gentlemen. All 12 minutes, very enjoyable, but it is a ride for sure. But again, overall, I really enjoyed Opal. I thought it was a great addition to Jack Stauber's you know, reputation of a great animator and a great, you know, songwriter. It had some really great bangers in there, a lot of great visuals. I think he could have gone a little bit more darker with the visuals, but, you know, since it's cable TV, you know, you're dealing with Adult Swim, I feel like he had to be censored a little bit, but I think overall it really was an enjoyable experience. What do you think? Did you guys see Opal? Did you guys enjoy Opal? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also tell me if I'm right with my little, not predictions, but more like my interpretations of everything. Or do you have your interpretations? Let me know. Again, let me know in the comment section down below. But besides that, that's really all I have to say. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified of my next video. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.